HOA Karen called the cops on me the day I moved back into my own ranch. She thought I was some trespasser on land that's been in my family for generations. Have you ever had someone accuse you of trespassing on your own property? I mean, seriously, has anyone ever looked you straight in the eye, ignored the legal deed in your hand, and still decided they had more right to be there than you? My name is Isaac Barrow. My family has owned this land in Elk Hollow, Montana, since the era of Ulysses S. Grant. For 6 generations, Barrow Ranch has stood strong. 10 square miles of open plains, timber, sweat, and legacy carved into the soil. When I came back after my father passed, my plan was simple: rebuild the ranch and honor what he left behind. I never imagined the real battle would be against the neighbors, or more specifically, one woman who crowned herself queen of the area. Her name was Karen Ellingsworth, acting president of the New Heritage Preserve HOA. Everything started the day I pulled in with a U-Haul. My childhood home still stood on the northern ridge, warmed by the sun but unbroken. I had left my city job, my apartment, everything behind to restore the ranch and turn it into a working rehabilitation center for veterans. That first evening, while I was unloading equipment, I heard footsteps crunching across the gravel, sharp, deliberate. Karen approached like she owned every inch of the place, gripping a clipboard like it was a badge of authority. "Excuse me," she said, her tone cold and official. "Who authorized you to be on this property?" I paused, covered in dust and already exhausted. "Ma'am, I own this property." Her eyes narrowed immediately. "That's unlikely. This ranch has been abandoned for years. We've had incidents of vandalism. I'm calling the sheriff." I barely had time to reach for my documents before she was already dialing, raising her voice for effect. "Yes, there's a suspicious man on a rural property. He looks dangerous. I believe he's breaking in." I should have been furious, but honestly, I just felt numb. Behind me, Tucker, my late father's cattle dog, let out a low whine. I scratched his head and waited. 15 minutes later, Deputy Wallace arrived. We'd gone to high school together. The second he saw me, he burst out laughing so hard he nearly spilled his thermos. "Karen," he said, stepping between us, "you just called the cops on the Barrow kid. He lives here. This is his ranch." Karen didn't even flinch. Well, I didn't recognize him. He doesn't look like a landowner. And there it was. Not about legality, about perception, about what someone like me was supposed to look like. A man with sunburned skin, mud on his jeans, and zero tolerance for arrogance didn't fit her image. Never mind that my family's name was carved into the original gate she had just walked past. But that wasn't the end of it. That would have been too simple. The next morning, I found a violation notice nailed to my fence. "Unauthorized fencing," it read. "Violation of Visual Uniformity Guidelines, Section 12B. She had cited me for the very fence my great-grandfather built. I tried to stay civil. I went down to the HOA office, basically a glorified shed with Wi-Fi and attitude, and showed them everything. The deed, land surveys, property history. Karen didn't even bother looking. "Your land borders a preserve," she said flatly. "That places you under community standards. Our legal team will review this." That's when I called in real backup. My Uncle Roy, former county assessor, not the kind of man who argues online. He walks into rooms with binders, dates, and state law memorized. He brought records from 1875, 1903, 1957, and 1988. Survey maps that clearly showed the HOA had gradually expanded onto our land over the years, including the clubhouse they built near the creek, on our soil. Karen's tone changed fast after that. Suddenly, I was being invited to resolve things quietly. They offered me $25,000 as a discretion payment if I allowed them to keep the clubhouse and trail access. I said no, so they escalated. Threats of lawsuits. Flyers around town labeling me as aggressive and unstable. Lies meant to turn people against me. Then came the breaking point. 2 weeks later, I caught Karen and her cousin, a retired real estate agent, digging up part of our southern fence line. They claimed they were correcting the boundary. What they didn't know was that I had just installed trail cameras, and I had connections at the state land office. The footage showed everything. Karen cutting wire and trespassing in broad daylight. I sent it straight to the sheriff, the county clerk, and the local newspaper. Things moved quickly after that. She was charged with trespassing, property damage, and impersonating a land official. But the real twist came during the investigation. They discovered she never had legal authority to act as HOA president in the first place. The paperwork had expired 4 years earlier, and she had forged the renewal documents. The very HOA that had been harassing me, illegitimate. By the end of that month, the HOA was dissolved. Karen was fined heavily and permanently banned from serving on any housing board in the county. The clubhouse was removed. The trails were shut down pending review. But the most important part? The ranch stayed exactly as it was meant to be. Last spring, I hosted my first veteran retreat. Horses, archery, fire pits, and stories that finally had a place to be told. No clipboards, no fake rules. Just healing on land that carries real meaning. So let me ask you, if someone tried to erase your family's legacy with lies, threats, and paperwork, what would you do? Tell me in the comments. Was I wrong to press charges? Or did Karen get exactly what she deserved? Let's talk about truth, land, and the kind of people who think a piece of paper gives them power over both.